Salva a tutti, qui è Midori48 ancora una volta con The Stanley Parable. Oh, Jesus. Voce narrante mi sei mancata, te lo giuro. Se io dovessi immaginarmi te, voce narrante, se dovessi personificarti, ti immaginerei come un vecchio con la barba. Tipo Gandalf. Vabbè, dai. Solo stavolta, Edore, solo per questa volta. Ma dai, no? Che vista? Scherzi? Colpito da un'onda di incredulità? Certo. Non puoi più rimanere basito di niente. Cioè, insomma, c'è una voce narrante che ti parla. Spettacolo. Sì, ok, salgo. Sto qui. Welcome! C'è nessuno? Ciao.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
No, ma ormai mi sono fatto l'abitudine, mi ho fatto il gallo. Sei tu il brutto bastardo che ha orchestrato tutto? Perché non lo so? La voce narrante, sei tu il boss finale alla fine.
And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Premendo semplicemente alcuni pulsanti a caso sul tastierino numerico, Stanley riuscì ad inserire il codice corretto per semplice fortuna. Stupefacente. Grazie, voce narrante, grazie. Oh mio Dio, un pulsante rosso, quanto sei bello. Io amo premere i pulsanti rossi da missione.
Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Grazie. Sarai tu a darmi una risposta, voce narrante? Ah, dalla missione. Mind Control Facility. Oh, grazie, sub. Fortuna che me lo traducono. Santo Dio. Che devo premerlo? Ma sì, dai. Dio disse luce. E luce fu.
What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength?
Dai, il peggio che ti può succedere è scoprire che la voce narrante è tuo padre? Oh, basta, penso che questo qui sia tipo il peggio, quindi... Ma, tranquillo. Dov'è il mio? Mamma, sono in TV. Dio santo. E ora dovrei dire, cioè, e ora Stanley dovrebbe dire: quale mente malata è riuscita a concepire qualcosa del genere? Secondo me se ne sbatte il cazzo. Ma proprio niente. Ma gli frega davvero niente, secondo me. Ma secondo me non se lo poni questo problema, lo sai, voce narrante. Ma perché con quali basi riesci a dire questo? Fammi capire.
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Vai,
così ti voglio, cattivo, vai. Sì, hai ragione, nessuno può controllarci. No, è impossibile. Li bacio. Ma ed è così.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. Would dismantle the controls once.
Era decisa a fermare il macchinario una volta per... Ma chi ti si fila? Ma perché dovrei? Devo fermare il macchinario. Ma lo faccio. Ma chi ti si incula? Oh, lol.
Oh, Stanley.
No. No, io non l'ho toccati. Giuro. No. Come fai a credere questo di me?
Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go. turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification,
ma perché?
nuclear detonators.
Ma perché qual è il senso? Perché ci deve essere un detonatore? Cioè, perché? Perché dovrebbe esplodere tutto? Qual è il motivo? È un'agenzia.
It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going.
Beh, potremmo iniziare a parlare delle nostre vite private, non credi?
You'd like to know where your co-workers are?
Ma
a moment of solace before you're obliterated. All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly.
Oh, grazie, dimmi, per favore, vai.
I erased them. I turned off the machine. That was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly.
Che diavolo sei? Fammi capire, spiegati, mi dici anche il tuo nome magari adesso.
Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp.
Sei un bastardo.
I have to say this though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go around will be even better.
La prossima cosa che io mi inventerò sarà anche meglio. È diverso, bellezza, è diverso.
But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not?
Ma sì, sto premendo tanto pulsanti a caso, quindi per così non può andare. Che cosa ho fatto?
Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley?
Sì.
Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing.
Sì, si chiama tipo panico, ma tipo un attimo. Ma tipo se riesco, mannaggia, te potessi venire infarto.
Here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley.
Perché non la smetti di fare lo stronzo, voce narrante e tipo, muori?
That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge, it's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world.
Ed ecco cosa succede a sfidare la voce narrante. Stronzo.
Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle.
Per disperarmi, oh mannaggia. Dio santissimo.
No ending here. Just you being.
Ma io premo pulsanti a caso, ma perché premo pulsanti a caso?
Or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice.
Oh, un post in prima fila, anzi mi metto in piedi perché sì, va bene così.
And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say
vai al diavolo infame. Io giuro che ti apri il culo uno di questi giorni. Finiscila di ripeterlo. Dio santissimo. Non ci voglio andare a quella dannata sala riunioni. Diamine, che potessi infartare adesso. Senza offesa. Eri simpatico. Sì, sono già dentro. Sei lento?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Su, dai, Stanley.
Stepping into his
Ti sto ignorando.
office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to know. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single
Senza
minute to
offesa,
just
fratello.
let the narrator
Guarda,
talk.
sei troppo lento, non vai a
That
tempo.
kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music.
Mi hai messo la musica? Oh. Sì, grazie. Oh, ottimo.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Tantissimo, ti prenderei a calci, ti prenderei. Mannaggia. Diventa persona e fatti prendere a calci. Ottimo. Ottimo. Ma perché non ha appicciato una luce qua?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. Now the monitors jumped to life. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job?
No, perché io mi diverto a schiacciare i pulsanti a random. Qual è il tuo problema? Sei solo geloso? Voce narrante, cioè, dai, su. Sei tu quello insoddisfatto qui dentro.
He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions.
Vaffanculo col cazzo che ti rettio questa volta.
Or content. Walking, eating,
non hai senso comunque siamo in gioco.
Monitored and commanded. And as the cold reality of his controls once and for all.
Sì, sicuro, eh? Non ci vedo! Dio santo!
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes.
Ora ci vedo! Adesso posso combattere!
Unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved.
Vabbè, giusto un po'.
Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know.
Un minimo esce fuori il nonno di Heidi.
The only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Libertà!
The cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Madonna, ma per così poco. Bene, questo è il secondo finale di The Stanley Parable e la prossima volta risceglierò un'altra volta la parte a destra e vedrò quali altre possibilità ho.